Field, and you're about to be Munger visioned as it's finally here. American Legion baseball action. Rutland post 31. They're going to send their big stud to the mound. That's Zach Aquistapage looking at number 17 with his back to the camera, and he'll have behind the plate as his battery mate Mitch Blair. And I'll do the rest of the lineup for you in just a moment. But their opponent today will be Bennington post 13. And of course, this is a rivalry rich in tradition right here. This usually is quite the intense matchup. Rutland with a road win to start the season off down in Chester, Vermont, a game that they put 17 runs on the board. In a game that their own coach, Tony Sorelli, did kind of describe as an ugly game, but it happens early in the season. A lot of new faces on this team for Post 31, and they're just learning to gel and get chemistry and play, with each other and understand their function on the team, their roles. Now let's set the defense real quick for you. I already mentioned the battery of Aquistapage and Blair, but you have Ryan Carter playing first base defensively for Rutland Post 31. Matt Merritt will be at second base. Chad Ryan, the shortstop. Jeff Bloomer will be the start at third base today. Your left fielders, TJ Oliver, and of course they're solid up the middle. They have Rob Dorian in center field and Alex Miskovsky, number 35, out there in left field. And then we should do the whole roster for you because, like I said, there's a lot of new faces on this team. A lot of old veterans back also, but you have number 3 on the roster, Bill Scholdice. Aaron Bloomer's number 12. Joe Rodolfi will be number 13. Mike Triller will be number 15. Matt Consolati will be wearing 16. Number 18 is Mike Serino. Mike Sorelli, 22. Casey Battles, 23. And Mike McMahon will be number 31. And of course, your head coach is Tony Sorelli. And the starting of the game here, we're going to see the leadoff batter, Dan Pierce, John Kuzak, and Corey Armstrong do up for Bennington, post 13. And the first pitch of the home opener will be a ball low and outside. Aquistapage can be overpowering and dominating at times. Like any young pitcher, he'll have moments of struggling with his control throughout a contest, but again, once he finds the right release point and gets his balance down on the mound, he just owns you. It's going to be a strike. It's going to be a 1-1 count. Now this is a 9-inning game today, so we're guaranteed going 7. Yes, you have to go at least 7 for the mercy rule. And the weather couldn't be better for a baseball game. That's going to be Bass Merritt. He'll make the diving stop, throw to first, and they got him. You could see the great play by Matt Merritt. As there, I finally got my iris adjusted, but Matt Merritt with a diving stop. Then came up, made a good throw to first base. Carter with the snag. And we'll get an exciting 4-3 ground out to get, like I said, the home opener underway. We'll have all the games for you from home here for Post 31 baseball. John Kuzak is the DH for Bennington. So there's one out. Nobody on base, and that's going to be swung through. Nice looking motion, good release place, nice fluid, relaxed motion by Aquistapage. Yeah, the pitcher for Bennington is J.C. LeBaron. He's not batting today. They're going to have the DH take his spot. And that's going to be hit off to Dorian, and he'll jump up and make the grab. Rob Dorian, like I said, just an all-star center fielder. And 2 down, top 2 batters in the order, retired. I had a week where I didn't have any games to cover, as Armstrong's up now, because the teams that I did cover for softball and baseball got eliminated in the playoffs or else we're on the road. So tell you what, I am glad to have a game. When you got no life, you got to have something to do, and it's a good thing to go videotape something. Then it'll be a little bit high and outside. So Aquistapage looking for a 1-2-3 first inning pitched here. Again, I got a feeling we're going to go all 9 innings. 2 good quality teams, a lot of good athletes, good baseball players out there. So settle in. It should be a blast today. And it's going to be right off the fist and fall. And again, it'll go to a 1-1 count. If Armstrong can get on base here, the cleanup batter today will be Will Cole. That's the umpire going around to gather up that foul ball, and he's going to toss it out of play as it got scuffed up against that concrete retaining wall behind home base. All got him. Throws him, never expected to see the breaking ball. And again, Aquistapage is physically big and strong, intimidating looking, but he can throw the heat, but he can also play around with some of that junk stuff like that right there. Yeah, tried it again, left it short, and couldn't get him to go chase it. And we'll go to a 2-2 count now. I mean, not a bad spot in the count to throw that breaking ball. And again, at 2-2, we can either go fastball or come back with an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup. We'll see what he wants to throw here. But it's still in his favor as the pitcher, the count, and that's going to be high, popped up, and Blair will watch it go out of play and caught near that Bennington sideline. But I was right on the fence, and Carter just snuggled right up against it. And then Quista Pace, very impressive in that first inning. And we'll have a 1-2-3 inning defensively. Now, let's see if they can carry that momentum over and get something happening offensively. We got a scoreless ball game heading into the bottom of the first. So for Bennington post 13, they're going to have J.C. LeBaron on the mound. He's a right-handed pitcher out there wearing number 10. And Dan Zacharewski will be the catcher. That's going to be the battery out there. Rob Dorian, leadoff hitter. And I shall set the rest of the Bennington defense for you after this first pitch to Dorian. And that's going to be a strike at the knee. Got Corey Armstrong starting over at first base. Seth Foster is your second baseman for Bennington. Will Cole's the shortstop. And Dylan Parmenter is at third base. And the second pitch to the leadoff batter in the bottom of the first. That's going to be up the middle, and base hit right up the middle by Dorian as he stayed with the head down and drove it right up the middle. Nice level swing, and that puts a base-stealing threat with good speed over there at first base with nobody out, and gives Coach Tony Sorelli a lot of options here. There's Chad Ryan coming up now. The outfield has Dan Krebs in left field. Dan Pierce is in center field. Nick Bennett is your right fielder. Of course, in the past, Coach Tony Sorelli of Post 31 really has an aggressive running game. Good pitch, great pitch, inside corner. So LeBaron from the stretch has that quick step, that short stride now with the runner over at first base. Of course, Armstrong is holding the runner on defensively over there at first base. Long pause pitch and fouled off a breaking ball, and it looks to be in play, and backing up on it, making the catch in foul territory will be Armstrong, so they will get Ryan out on a fly ball in foul territory. So 1 out, 1 on, and that'll bring up Zach Aquistapace. Of course, Aquistapace, big and strong, and always a threat to take the ball and take it right out of the yard with one swing. Like I said, Rutland with an opening win over Chester, post 67 on the road. See LeBaron with a long look there over to first base with the runner Dorian, who's got a healthy lead over there. Actually, he's got a good 6-7 step stride off from the bag. He's going, he picked a breaking ball to run on, and he's going to have a stolen base, but it's just something that's so valuable with that type of player Dorian is. You know, his speed is a big asset defensively in the outfield as far as closing down gaps and chasing down balls, holding people to singles. Right there, we get on base, and, you know, I don't want to say it's an automatic double, but he gives you an opportunity to really do stuff as far as running and moving the defense around on the infield, worried about him. And I believe he held up. See if they look down at third base. Nope, they just don't even peel it. They'll say that's going to be a 2-0 count. So LeBaron, just a little bit of a pickler right now. Runner in scoring position at second base. That's a great pitch. I tell you, he's gotten a couple pitches on that inside corner, and if he can establish that on a consistent basis, he'll be all right this afternoon. Bennington post 13 on the field defensively with the blue uniforms trimmed out in the yellow, and of course post 31 American Legion Rutland out there in the red, white, and blue. And yeah, that's not a foul ball. And he did not go because Aquistapace was telling him that that wasn't a foul and it didn't hit him. That's not a dead ball, and the runner opted to stay at third base, or second base, excuse me. I have my schedule today too, and I'll give you some of the upcoming home games for post 31. I have my PEGTV information, so I can tell you about the video on demand and the website. Great pitch inside, tied him up, had him hacking at it. Now make it a 2-2 count. And again, that pitch was inside. Now, like I said, LeBaron's a right-handed pitcher. If he can get it that far inside on a right-handed hitter, I mean, it's danger of not going far enough inside when you're pitching righty against righty hitting, and then it's going to be chopped and foul. Foul ball after all that was said and done. Bennington went down 1-2-3 in the top half of the first. We're scheduled for 9, so yeah, grab something cold to drink, get in front of the air conditioner, settle in and watch American Legion baseball action. Got a high strike called. He will go down swinging, and I got to tell you, I am a hometown fan, and as long as he calls that consistently, then I've got no problem with it, but I can see where Aquistapace would hold up on that. So Ryan Carter coming up with 2 down and a runner at second. And of course, Carter, if you put Aquistapace and Carter to that 3-4 spot, you just have a lot of power right in that section of your order. And Carter, of course, can crank it out of here. I'll tell you what, LeBaron's been using very effectively here. Even though we're just early in the contest, he's been mixing up his speeds very good. He's key, you know, he got the breaking ball strikeout looking on. Aquistapace started Carter out there with a breaking ball and had him lunging at it, had to wait on the front foot. And when he's put that BB on the inside corner, it's been a pretty nasty looking fastball. So And again, hats off to the umpire. That was a high pitch, gave him the strike. So long as it's consistent, we won't talk about it anymore. So Carter down in the count 0-2. LeBaron looking to strand that leadoff base hit. He skipped in the dirt, and a very good stop by the catcher back there, Zakaruski. And then we'll just go to 1-ball, 2-strike count. Again, you can catch all the action on PEGTV, Channel 15, Public Access. And Tom Leipold, the program director, does an outstanding job of getting these games on for you. That's going to be back. Oh, looks to be settled in, and he's going to misplay. It's going to go to the wall. That's going to allow the run to score. Carter's going to go to at least second. He'll look around, and he's going to hold up, and the big guy will head back to second base. And again, that was just a couple different things going on there. It was a long line drive out there to left field to Krebs, and he backed up on it. He turned around on it. And next thing you know, he just couldn't leap up and get it. So I'm not sure that would have been catchable. It was such a deep, long drive. That's going to be a big swing and a miss. He was swinging for St. Joseph's Avenue. This is Jeff Bloomer. So Rutland will get on the board first. And they'll lead 1-0. Again, that was a pretty decent stroke. That pitch was up in the strike zone too. And Carter, that's really in his power zone between the numbers and the belt buckle. And that's about where that pitch was, and he's a big, strong kid. He got around on it. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say hi to his dad, Glenn Carter, the MSJ boys varsity baseball coach, who also used to be the Rutland County Royals baseball coach, the Proctor Rangers coach. I mean, he is like, to me, he's Mr. Baseball. If I need a question answered or something explained to me about baseball, I always try to find Glenn. Very, very knowledgeable, very good coach. Good supporter of all the local sports that goes on in the area, and he's out there in the stands today taking in a... This is where you got to come. I'll spend your summer. It's a community event. It's for the American Legion. It's for the youth in the community. It's a great sporting event. That's got a chance to drop in. He got a late start on the ball. He's going to make the grab, and he'll get it for the third out. But Rutland will plate one, and then going into the second inning, we'll have a 1-0 post 31 lead over Bennington. So we're going to look at the cleanup batter, leading things off here in the top of the second. Will Cole for Bennington, Dan Zakaruski, and Dan Krebs. If they get to a number 4 spot, it'll be Dylan Parmenter due up. Quista Pace for no strikeouts in that first inning, but did enjoy some solid defense behind him. Matt Merritt made the outstanding play defensively on the ball hit toward the second base side. It looked like I had a chance to go through the infield, but he made a nice diving stop and got the out. And that's going to be framed very nicely behind the plate by Mitch Blair for a strike at the knee. Okay, now, Channel 15, remember they upgraded and they went to this new internet server, and they have announced you can go to www.pegtv.com, and big swing and a miss on a high fastball. And you can actually just go streamline video. You can go video on demand, which means you can click on video on demand, follow the instructions. You don't need Comcast anymore. You can just watch sports and talk shows right there on your computer by going to the website. And I tell you what, if that's not handy, oh, he just overpowered him. That'll be the first strikeout of the ball game by the big guy from Rutland. He'll get it on a swinging strike, and he went upstairs and elevated the fastball. And we saw a lot of breaking balls from Quista Pace in that first inning. Now he's gone to the fastball here to lead off the top of the second. Zakaruski, the catcher, right in the middle of the order. Again, Tom Leipold, the program director at Channel 15. Every Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he starts playing all the sports of the week. Anything's passed in that week, he'll start airing it Saturdays at 4. And again, he went upstairs to that one. And Quista Pace, like I said, like any pitcher, especially a young person, he'll have moments of struggling, but then he'll kind of find his rhythm, and he can get on a run. And I've seen him do it. I've done games where he can retire 9, 10, 11 in a row. That's right off the fist. And one thing you've got to really look at here early in the ball game, he's been pitching from ahead in the count, which in years prior has been one of his difficulties. But so far in this ball game, he's been able to get up early in the count on the Bennington batters. And Bennington looking for their first base runner of the game. It's a 9-inning game today. Yes, he went to that, well, use that for an out pitch on a couple ground balls where he got the batters off base in the first inning. This time he was looking maybe to nick the outside corner, but it did travel too far outside, and it'll be a ball. And we'll go to 1 and 2 in the count. I'll reset the defense for you also in just a second for post 31. And he'll go 2-2 now with the fastball outside. Ryan Carter is your first baseman. Matt Merritt's at second. Chad Ryan gets the start at shortstop today, and Jeff Bloomer is at third base. T.J. Oliver, Rob Dorian, Alan Muskowski is the outfield for Post 31. And Blair behind the plate, your catcher, and man, that just missed. That's pretty disciplined right there by Zakaruski, because that was a real close pitch. So after being up 0-2 in the count, it's gone to a full count to the second batter in the second inning for Bennington. But again, right on the fist, and a foul ball over against the screen. It'll be recovered by Blair, and he'll toss it in. I don't know if you've looked in your mail in the last couple weeks, but the PEGTV newsletter back in circulation, and it's got all kinds of good information and neat updates. Like I said, tells you how to use the website, and you should be looking for that in the mail. It's got all kinds of interesting information in it. And that's going to be looking like a catchable ball as Oliver will come in, made a few steps back, came in and makes the grab for the second out. So it's 5 in a row retired now by Aquista Pace. As T.J. Oliver, his second year being on the Post 31 squad from the Bennington, or from the Burton area, Manchester area, will make the grab. Now Dan Krebs up. And Aquista Pace again with the luxury of pitching from the full windup because he hasn't had a base runner yet. Great pitch. That had some juice on it. That's what I'm talking about. He had all his mechanics down, everything looked good, and that was just a hummer of a pitch. So again, you'll be up on the Bennington batter at 0-1. Came inside, and just a tad too far inside. Coming up on a later date at Channel 15 Sports, I'll be covering the Western Massachusetts Vermont High School All-Star Basketball game being played down at College of St. Joseph's. So I'll have both the men's and women's All-Star Basketball games. And it's going to be a strike on the... Well, I ended up on the outside corner, but I actually came across the middle of the plate. And with a 1-2 count, 2 down, table set for another 1-2-3 inning here for Rutland Post 31. You see Blair set the target up. Looks like he wants to slide inside. And that's going to be nubbed foul down the third baseline. And Bloomer will... Yeah, there's the official call. Bloomer will scoop it up and toss it over. And, you know, later on also I'll go through the entire Post 31 roster. I should mention what a good job the general manager, Rob Fairbanks, does. A lot of responsibility putting together a Legion team and the travel plans and the logistics of a whole game, and he does a very good job at it. And that is going to be foul. He stroked it, but foul, and it'll actually go over onto St. Joseph's Avenue. Again, you've never been to St. Peter's Field to catch a ball game, whether high school or Legion ball. You don't know what you're missing. It used to be home in the 70s to a semi-pro team, the Rutland Royals. They used to actually have lights. They had lights, night games here and stuff. And man, I'd love to see that again. I'd like to see lights here just for Legion ball. It'd be a lot cooler. Oh, breaking ball faded on him, went outside, and Steve Shortle doing the PA announcing the lineups, and Mike Grabowski doing the scoreboard. And you know how important that is to have the PA announcer and the scoreboard people. It really makes it so much more enjoyable. Gets him on the high fastball, gets him struck out. 6 in a row, retired by Aquista Pace. We'll go to the bottom of the second with Post 31 up 1-0. So you think back to that first inning when Rutland got the run, how their speed and their aggressive base running actually helped in getting that run. Dorian got the single up the middle, then he stole second base, and it was on Carter's double that he was able to come home. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't have stretched it if he was at first base, never did steal second, but it would have been close if he at all, if they would have sent him. But since he did steal second, it was very easy to score on that double. And Mitch Blair, Alex Muskowski, and T.J. Oliver, the 3 do up, and if they can push it to number 4 batter here, it'll be Matt Merritt. And LeBaron kind of giving a look in there. It's been a high strike zone. And there'll be days, different umpires, that would have been a strike right there at the shin. Nothing wrong with the strike zone. It's just you have to adapt your game to each umpire's strike zone because there is different strike zones, different umpires. That's not criticism. You'd ask any baseball person to tell you that. Today, so far, it's been a high strike zone, which I think favors the hitter. A lot of people say it doesn't favor anybody, but that's a great pitch right there as LeBaron just reared back and let it fly away at Blair. Blair's got some decent power also. More of a gap hitter, doubles type hitter. But you know, anybody, if you hit it on the sweet spot, if the pitcher's throwing hard enough, because he generates a lot of the power for the batter, and you can get the sweet spot of the bat on it and the quickness through the strike zone with your hands, so anybody can hit the ball out of the park. That's got a chance to drop in. That's going to drop in and be a single up the middle to center field. Just blooper over the infield, and there's Blair over at second base. And I'm not saying they'll bring out a courtesy runner, but it's an option. And so no, I don't see, they're not going to bring out a courtesy runner for the catcher Blair, so he'll have a second hit of the ball game for post 31. And so two, it's a leadoff hit. It's different. Now Muskoski's up, and he's a left-handed hitter. They're going to hold the runner on at first, and it creates a bigger hole between first and second for the left-handed batter to try to pull the ball through. That's Armstrong defensively at first base, holding on. Blair. Like I said, Rutland able to get a run in that first inning. Have the leadoff batter on for the second inning in a row. They've got the leadoff batter on. And there's the throw over to first. And LeBaron has got a much better move than that. That was just his show. I'm showing you. I've got under my radar over there. Again, post 31 coming in with a 1-win, no-loss record. And between now and July 27th, there's going to be a lot of baseball played. It's a real intense season for the next 2 months for Legion baseball fans. And like I said, I've got the schedule with me. I'll be able to bring you up to date. They open at home here with a 9-inning game against Bennington, and then a 9-inning game tomorrow, which will also be shown at a later date on Channel 15. And again, very high pitch, but called a strike. That's Windsor tomorrow at home. Then I'll have Fairhaven on the 24th and Granville on the 26th. Now, the weeknight games start at 5:30, so that gives you plenty of time to get out of work and go home, grab a lawn chair, and no, that's a great pitch. Oh, he did not get the call. I had him all but a strike right there, and it will be called a ball. And that'll become a 3-1 count now. Yeah, so LeBaron, with his first 3-ball count, he hasn't walked anybody yet in the ball game, and he has the 1 strikeout. He struck a Quistabase out back in the first. What, again, close pitches, but won't get the benefit of the call, so that'll push runner to second base, and of course on the walk, Muskoski will go to first. Yeah, so TJ Oliver coming up to the plate now with first and second. Nobody on base, and only average speed out there on the bases, so on a single to the outfield, it will really depend on the location as far as sending the runner all the way around from second to home. Coach Tony Sorelli back at the helm here at Post 31, where he's done an outstanding job keeping the program top notch. Did a good roster. They've really gone out. They've got a lot of good players, a good mixture. They're real solid everywhere. Every position I look at, they're just really solid. I don't want to put pressure on these young guys, but I expect a big season out of Post 31. And they always deliver. They always have a good season. He shows bunt, whether he pulls it off. No, he's going to stay right with it. That's a great job. That's going to get the runners over, and that's going to might even become a base hit. They'll flip it. He's going to have it thrown out in an error, and T.J. Oliver will end up at second base. 1 run will come in, and I tell you what, that was kind of a strange play as far as he kept the pitcher, LeBaron, going after the ball, almost kind of like jogged and took his time and then had to rush at the end. Blair will score. Muskoski will end up at third, and Oliver will end up at second base. Now Matt Merritt up as it goes 2-0 Rutland. And I'm not sure if the ball accelerated or just misplayed it or whatever. But it was, it definitely was going to be a sacrifice bunt, but it turned into a lot more as a run came around and Oliver ended up at second base. So with nobody down, the makings of a big inning here for Rutland. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball has ended up in the dirt, and a nice stop behind the plate by Zacharewski as Bennington will be charged with the game's first error. That leads to the game's second run. And you can see LeBaron elects to stay in the stretch, and that's going to be an RBI single, and it ends up in center field. Pierce will throw through, run coming in, and it's going to be out. They call him out on the tag. He can't believe it when he gets up. It looked like it was late on the tag, but he will be rung up as 1 run will score on that hit, and now the runner on the trail in as Muskoski scores. Oliver is tagged out at the plate. And Dorian coming up now, and of course Matt Merritt will end up at first base with an RBI. And I'll tell you what, it was a close play at the plate, but it looked like the tag had to be swept in from the backside, the third base side and around, and that'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and that'll be the first out. But 3-0 Rutland now in the bottom of the second. Coach Strelli seems to have seen it my way. as he's discussing the out call at home base, but he's discussing it with the field umpire. You notice too, he's wearing a batting helmet. The coaches this year have to wear the batting helmets for protection because of the incident last year where the third base coach was struck in the head on a foul ball and unfortunately passed away. But that's one of the safety issues that was brought up this year, and it unanimously passed. But they have to wear the batting helmets while they're coaching first and third base now. As Rob Dorian at the plate, one down, and a nice stop. Zakaruski able to knock the ball down, and Merritt will stay at first base. So 2 runs so far here in the second, 3 in total. An error helped keep this inning kind of steamrolling along. And Dorian with a base hit already in the ball game. He's got a single and he has scored a run. And again, Zakaruski damn to flop around behind home base as LeBaron, the pitcher out there, is elected to throw a lot of breaking balls here, and he's leaving himself open to a pass ball or a wild pitch here because he really hasn't got the control end of it down yet. And that looks to be playable. Third baseman coming in, calling, and making the grab will be Parmenter, as Dylan Parmenter came in, pretty much tracked the ball right from the crack of the bat and made the call and gets the second out. So Dorian retired. Now bring up Chad Ryan now. Ryan flied out to the first baseman Armstrong in foul territory back in the first inning. As this is a 6 post 31 batter to come to the plate. 3-0 Rutland with the lead, and that'll be a strike called. And again, if you just go back and review this inning, Blair singled, Muskowski walked, and then T.J. Oliver sacrificed up the first baseline, and there's the balk called. Yep. And you can see that the pitcher, LeBaron, knew it, and so that will send the runner Merritt over to second base on the balk. And no question about it, no argument about it. So 2 down, and the runner slides over to second, and that's going to be up the middle, and a base hit again, and they're going to send Merritt around the corner. Nope, they'll put the brakes on as he'll scamper back to third base, and we'll have runners at first and third as Chad Ryan did a nice job of going down low and getting that pitch around the ankles and roped it. Now Quistapace up. He is the only strikeout victim in the ballgame so far for LeBaron. He has a first and third situation, 2 outs. You would think it's automatic that they're going to send the runner on a steal attempt here from first to second. Quistapace is going to be foul. Went down the first baseline near the fist of the bat and will be foul. And this has been a very long inning out here for LeBaron. Like I said, he has faced, this is the 7th batter of the inning. He went 5 deep in the first, and he could not hold up. Yeah, he overpowered him with that rising fastball. So Quistapace with an 0-2 count. Remember, it was the breaking ball that struck him out looking the first time around. Let's see what he comes back with here with an 0-2 count. And LeBaron. See, he'll look the runner to third, and nice stop. Good stop in the dirt. The runner will have the bag stolen at second, but the catcher, Zakaruski, by able to knock the ball down, didn't allow the runner from third to come home on a pass ball or wild pitch there. Would have been a wild pitch, but so second and third, and a 1-2 count. We're in the second, gonna go 9 today. Boy, and again, Zakaruski. I tell you, I'm surprised by LeBaron going to so many breaking balls. He's really had a problem getting control of them, and you're flirting with a wild pitch when you leave him in the dirt like that, and you got runners at second and third. 2-2 count, and breaking ball again. I think that's 4 in a row now. Now, you would think 3-2, you might be thinking fastball as the hitter, but first base is open. But don't forget Ryan Carter's on deck, so there's really not a lot of wiggle room there in this whole sequence. And yeah, long look into the catcher, Zakaruski. They couldn't decide on the sign, so Quistapace just stepped out of the box, and now we're all set again. Got him looking, same pitch as the first time around, and he'll go down on strikes. And it'll be 3-0 Rutland with the lead going into the third inning. Post 13 is going to be looking at Dylan Parmenter, Nick Bennett, then Seth Foster, and that'll be the 7, 8, 9 spot, so they would have gotten through the order once here. They've sent 6 batters to the plate, and Quistapace has retired all 6 batters, and he's had some awful good defense behind him, but in the last inning, the second inning, he was able to start finding that strikeout pitch. That's going to be the game's first base hit for Bennington, as Miskovsky will go down and scoop it up, and they will have the leadoff runner on now. Now, Equistebase has been struggling at the plate batting today in the game against Chester on the road in the Rutland win. He had a massive home run in that game, but it's one of those things too. When you pitch, your focus and concentration really should be mostly on your pitching. He's just such a threat at the plate that they don't DH for him. Now Bennett up with a runner at first, and for the first time today we'll see Equistebase pitch from the stretch, and that could become relevant. There are pitchers, and I'm saying Zach is one of them, who are just more comfortable from the full windup, and there's also pitchers who are just more comfortable from the stretch. And then there's pitchers, it just doesn't matter. So in the third inning, Bennington able to get their first base runner of the game. They're down just 3 runs, and there's a long way to go. 9 innings, and I don't expect to see either pitcher last 9 innings. First of all, the rules have changed in the pitch counts and the amount of pitches you can throw, and nobody throws that many innings anymore nowadays at any level. It's not like the old days. You just hand the guy the ball and he can throw all 9 innings, that thrower to first base and the runner back easily ahead of the throw. And that, again, that was not Equistebase's best move, because he's got a dandy of a move over to first. So as Parmenter dusts himself off over at first. Oh, I like that. I like that when he rears back and just fires the ball like that. Got 3 strikeouts now. And they've all taken place in the last inning and in the third here. Now Seth Foster up, and then top of the order, Pierce. And we want to see what they want to do as far as getting their running game going with Parmenter over at first base, being held on by Ryan Carter defensively for post 31. As Zach Equistebase and Rollin with the lead, and there's a strike. I'd like to say hi to Frank Equistebase, Zach's dad. Frank, and very smartly so, never does admit that we went to grade school together. Played on the Southeast School, grade school's 5th and 6th grade basketball team that went to the finals each year and lost to Dana School, unfortunately. And the runner's off and going, and he picked a great pitch. That was a great pitch to go on. There was nothing Blair could do. He did a good job of blocking the ball, but that'll end up with a runner at second base now, down on 1 out. So Foster with an opportunity here to maybe plate Bennington's first run. Now Equistebase will step off, and him and Blair are going to get together on some communication difficulties here. Again, Rutland jumped out to that 1-0 lead at the end of 1 inning, added 2 more runs in the second. They have a 3-0 lead over Bennington, and Bennington trying to respond here in the top of the third. They've got the leadoff batter Parmenter on with the game's first single for Bennington, the game's first hit for Bennington. Bennett struck out, and now Seth Foster up, and got a 1-1 count. So the pitcher-catcher all done with their little gathering, and they're set to go here as Equistebase will check the runner back to second, kick fire, and get the strike called. To me, see, that was a pitcher's pitch. That was one of the very few low inside pitches being called today. And it's been, it's been an equal and fair strike zone. It's just, to me, if I'm going to get a strike zone on the pitcher, that's where I want the calls, right there. It's going to be beeline foul down that first baseline, and it'll just stay at a 1-2 count. Again, I'm glad Legion Baseball had me back. I'd like to thank the American Legion Post 31 Foundation, the administration, Ron Fairbanks, the coaching staff, the players, and the family for allowing me to videotape Post 31 Baseball and put it on Channel 15 Sports for the community to enjoy. And tell you what, get behind the team. It's going to be a good one this year. Great pitch. Got him. Great pitch. I don't even know how we can argue that. That's 4 strikeouts in the last 2 innings for Equistebase. And now at the top of the order up, Pierce. Pierce grounded out to Merritt, who made that nice diving stop at second base. So Equistebase, like I said, in his first situation in the ball game where he's got a runner in scoring position, trying to get out of it with no damage done, and he'll kick and fire, and there's another strike. It's all in your mechanics. I don't care what else they tell you. When you're throwing strikes, your mechanics are good, and when you're struggling, it's all in your mechanics again. Right now, he's got everything flowing through that big old body. Is looking good. That one, he came inside just a tad bit too far, and it'll level the count off at 1-1. like I said, Legion Baseball home games on Munger Vision. Got the basketball all-star game coming up, and it'll be on Channel 15 Sports. And I did have a schedule given to me just recently for some younger age group baseball, so I don't have the schedule physically on me. It's at home, but so you'll be seeing all kinds of sports throughout the summer, and I'm sure there'll be other people besides myself that will hand in sports. Boy, that's got a chance. That's going to be through the hole. Will they send them? They're going to charge. They're going to send them home, and the throw coming, and yeah, they're going to hold up at the cutoff position. That will be a 2-out single by Pierce. And on a ball, I thought he might have hit it so hard that he couldn't send him home, but he'll get Bennington's first RBI in Parmenter. Now, you got to go back again. How did they score that run? Good base running. Remember, he stole second base. That's what put him in position to come home on the single. So, John Cusack up. He flied out to Dorian in center field. And not John Cusack, the actor. John Cusack, the DH today from Bennington. Oh, I expect this to be a good, tight ball game. That's going to be down to shortstop, and Ryan flips the mare, and that'll be it. But Bennington will trim the lead to 2. We'll have a 3-1 score going into the bottom of the third. Rutland with the lead. So LeBaron will be facing Ryan Carter here in the bottom of the third. And of course, if you want to face Carter, I think is what you want. Bases empty. And these two teams are very familiar with each other from high school baseball season. Carter's Achilles heel this year, most of the time he struggled with the breaking ball, and that's what LeBaron started him off with right there, was a breaking ball. And there's a strike call. 1-1 to count. Carter had the RBI double back in the first to score Dorian from second base, and that kind of got the scoring underway. And you can see Carter, he'll pitch, play catcher. He's at first base today. Pretty much he could really play any position that you put him at. And he has throughout his entire baseball career, right from diapers up. I did MSJ baseball again this past season and saw him pitch some impressive games, some 12 and 14 strikeout performances against MAU and Brattleboro. And that's going to be through the hole, and it's going to be a base hit for Carter as he'll just beat it through the hole at short, and he'll take the turn. And yeah, and for a big guy, he runs better than you would think, I mean speed-wise. And we'll see what they want to do with him over there at first base. So Carter will have a base hit. So he's 2 for 2 today. Now Jeff Bloomer up. He flied out to right field his first time up. Bloomer from the right-hand side. And Carter, for the 3rd inning in a row, Rutland will have their leadoff batter on. I mean, that's a stat right there. The coach, if you could go 40% of the game with the leadoff runner on each inning, I mean, that would just be better than pumpkin pie with whipped cream. But Rutland so far, and I'll just review my thinking here, but I have missed all 3 innings getting a leadoff batter on. That become 2. There's 1. They'll turn, and they'll call him safe. Yeah, so he was able to get it down the line, Bloomer was, and avoid a double play, but they will get the leadoff runner out at second base. And I'm just doing my book work. Now Mitch Blair up. He had a single, and he scored a run back in the 2nd inning. Of course, Blair, your catcher, and awful good hitter. He's got good baseball genes in him. Oh, he liked that pitch. He was no hesitation. He was going for it and fouled it straight back so hard off from the press box area that it came right back to the pitcher. They want to look at the ball, make sure it's not scuffed up. Of course, in that press box, you see that bright yellow shirt? Tom Haley, the Rutland Herald back there. Kind of made him jump a little bit, but hey, again, Mike Grabowski and Steve Shortle in there and doing the PA and strike calls and doing the scoreboard. And again, that just really is very helpful to have the announced who's in the field, who's pitching, who's coming to the plate by Steve Shortle, and it keeps the crowd informed in the ball game. And then of course the scoreboard up, and you can track the ball game that way. That'll be too high, and that'll be a ball. So Rutland has Bloomer down at first base. There is the 1 out. Blair then Muskoski up. That's Muskoski's on deck for Post 31, coached by Tony Sorelli yet again this year. And that could get the leadoff runner out. There's 1. Then we're going to try, and got him. Double play turn. A 6-4-3 double play. That'll end the inning, and that'll keep the score at 3-1 Rutland over Bennington. It'll be Corey Armstrong, Will Cole, and Dan Zakaruski as Bennington right in the middle of their batting order against Aquista-Pace. Aquista-Pace at this point been pitching very well. That one got away from him, but he retired the first 6 batters he faced in the ball game. He has 4 strikeouts to this point. He hasn't walked anybody, and for the most part, he's been up in the count to each batter. I want to tell you what, Carter. Nope, just ran out of room. Got into the trees, out of play, and he's already made 1 catch in foul territory, and he tracks the ball extremely well. Very good ball player anyways, naturally, instincts. So they'll settle back in there and twist base with the baseball, and the big wind up the kick and the delivery right there. Now quickly make it a 1-2 count. And again, he struck 2 out in the second, 2 out in the third, and here we are in the 4th. Scheduled for 9, and it's 3-1 Rutland with the lead. And that is going to be out of play. Everybody looking at it as it heads over to the very swollen Otter Creek. Again, you can go to the website at Channel 15, www.pegtv.com, and you can just click on, follow the instructions on it, and just click on watch programming from Channel 15, whether it's games, parades, talk shows, whatever, and just watch right there on your computer. You can be on the road. Say you got a business trip. Say your nephew plays Legion baseball, and you got a business trip to Idaho, United States. You can go out there and click it on and click on that game and watch that game after it's been played, of course, tape delayed. But I mean, we have a major reach now in sports. We're not thought of in professional media. I don't know who we are. I mean, I'm talking about myself. I can't talk for other people who do sports for 15. We're not really thought of a major player. We're kind of like a joke afterthought. But tell you what, that is stroked. Dorian going back, back. And did he? Oh, he almost came up with a grab. He actually overran the play. He was so fast. He's going to have him go back to second base, and he's going to get there. What a crazy play all the way around. Dorian actually had to reach back because he had overran with his great speed. The ball got it up in the air on the bobble and almost caught it on the bounce. So Bennington, for the 2nd inning in a row, will get the leadoff batter on. This time they're already in scoring position at second base, and Will Colup, he was the first of 4 strikeout victims for Quistapay. So Bennington posts 13 with a runner at second base, and tell you that ball was hit a mile. It's in that left center field gap where it goes 360 to 375, and we'll see now if they can capitalize on it. That's going to be reached out there on the outside corner and fall out of play. Oh, but I started to say, I mean, I'm not paid media. I just do this on a volunteer basis. I have no college background or training other than just getting the camera and keep doing so many games that you kind of learn your way through it on the job training. I have no backing, no sponsorship, and tell you, they don't think of me as a major player, but I cover more local sporting events, any gender, any age group, any sport than any professional organization does. Now was the ability to get on the web, the internet, and watch the games that I tape anywhere in the world. I tell you what, in my opinion, that's a pretty major player. Not that that matters, but it filled up airspace. Oh, he liked that pitch. He hacked away at it, and I'll be falling out of play. So Bennington, the last couple innings, starting to come to life here as they get their second looks through the batting order at the pitcher, Quistapay. And again, that lead off, unofficial book too. I'm unofficial. I gave him the double on it, but they might have given him officially an error. I don't know. Quistapay with a flick of the wrist, trying to come in there with a breaking ball and make it a 1-2 count. I personally like it when the big guy just rears back, elevates the fastball, and puts everything he's got into it. He's been able to overpower quite a few batters today with that. Yeah, you can see the long look, and now the pitch, and got him. Just like that is what I wanted him to do, and it worked out well for him. That'll become the 5th strikeout of the ball game. He's had at least 1 the last 3 innings. And again, that was just a rising fastball. He elevated it up in the strike zone, come to chase it. Now Zakaruski up. Zakaruski flying out to left field. He's flying out to T.J. Oliver, his first and only time up. But again, it's the second look through the order now at Quistapay. Down at second base still is Armstrong, Corey Armstrong, the first baseman for Bennington. Oh, yeah, face mask or not, or patty or not, That makes your eyes water as a catcher. Blair's not going to budge an inch here and rub it or nothing. She's going to go back and settle in behind the plate, but foul ball right off the catcher's mask. Krebs is on deck for Bennington post 13. They're down 2. You can see a twist pace again. Nice patient set, and that's going to be fouled out of play, and he will be up in the count. 0-2. Now his tendency has been to go to an off-speed pitch when he's up in the count like this. We'll see what he does here on this particular sequence of pitches. Zakaruski, Krebs, and Parmenter. You can see the target being set up behind the plate. Inside corners where they want the ball delivered. Blair. And that's going to be a single. Boy, he hung it out there on the inside corner, and they're going to send the runner home to score the game's second run for Bennington. And that will become an... I'll tell you, one thing that surprised me is I don't think they're being very aggressive on the outfield as far as attacking the ball on these base hits to score runs. But Zakaruski will have an RBI single, and they've trimmed the lead now to 3-2. And I told you these two teams get together. It's a good rivalry in close games. Now Krebs up. He struck out back in the second. It's not a hot, humid day. It's a nice, pleasant day, but there should be no fatigue factor at this point. And Quistabase has not thrown an abundance of pitches. He's been very efficient today. So he's got 1 in, 1 out, 1 on. And what you missed there, because I was glancing out my scorebook reading that to you, was a throw to first, and the runner is back safely. So that's Zakaruski at first, being held on by Carter. Yeah, I'll go through the roster for you in its entirety again, because it's a loaded roster. I think one of the best solid rosters I've seen in many, many years for post 31. That breaking ball laid outside and will be called a ball. We're in the 4th, the top of the 4th to be exact. And the Quistabase a little more deliberate between pitches as Bennington has been patient. Dorian should have it, and Rob will move in, make the grab, and it'll be the second out of the inning. That was a good pitch down low and a good job by the batter going down to, well, be able to drive it, get the bat in the ball, see if you make something happen. Now Parmenter up, he singled and scored back in the 3rd inning. Bennington with a run in the 3rd and a run in the 4th. Rutland with a run in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, and we're at 3-2 post 31 from Rutland with the lead. There's a throw to first, and again the runner back well ahead of that throw, but not the best move yet by Quistabase. He's still got a better one than that. Yeah, the weeknight games start at 5:30, and on the weekend it's a noontime start. There are a couple weekends where they're going to have some double headers, but again, if you go to the Rutland Herald and take a look, then you'll know all that information. Carter will make the grab in foul territory. That will retire Bennington, but again, they pick up another run. It'll be 3-2 Rutland with the lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Well, with the help of that double play, the last seen by Bennington, they were able to, for the first time, hold Rutland scoreless. The Rutland squad, post 31, scored 1 run in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, and then were shut out in the 3rd as Bennington ended that inning with that double play. And this is Muskoski, Alex Muskoski up, then T.J. Oliver and Matt Merritt. The 7, 8, 9 hitters has LeBaron on the mound. Well, great pitch to the left-handed batter. Outside and faded on, has an 0-2 count. Yeah, LeBaron fell behind 3-0, but his team able to kind of, not that they were ever out of the ballgame at 3-0, but they're right there now, down just 3-2. Momentum shift? Yeah, I think so. I think Bennington's got a little bit of the momentum now. And boy, he stayed with a game plan right there on that at bat to Muskoski, the left-handed batter who had walked and scored. He's now struck out, but the pitcher, LeBaron, did not budge out that outside corner and just kept out there and got him to swing at pitches out of the strike zone. Now Oliver up. He laid down what looked was going to be just a sacrifice bunt and ended up scoring a run. He ended up at second base as the pitcher made an error on it. That has popped up, and boy, LeBaron giving chase and can't get to it. The catcher couldn't locate it. LeBaron, with a great effort, will dive into the screen, the retaining wall, be okay, and get the ball handed to him from his coach. The catcher literally put his hands up that he could not see and didn't know where the ball was. That's what he's talking to the umpire to about. So, in any event, I'm not sure he would have got it or the first baseman, but it'll just go as a foul ball strike when all the dust is settled. And Oliver back up at the plate with 1 out, nobody on here, in the bottom of the 4th, in the home opener for post 31. And that sweeping curveball called a strike. And again, with it's a short season. It's crammed into a lot of space in a small amount of time. Every league game is important, because there's non-league games also on the schedule. But I've seen over the last, I think this is my 12th or 13th year doing this. Obviously, the first goal, you want to win as many games as you can and play as well as you can. But the first goal is going to be to win enough games to get to the tournament. In my opinion, if you go in as the number 1 seed, that's awesome, that's great. But the number 1 seeds really haven't fared that well over the last several seasons in Southern Legion baseball. So, to me, the biggest goal is get tournament qualified. Get a lot of people experience playing. And boy, Oliver went after that, and he'll be thrown down to first on the drop. Strike 3, he'll throw it away. Oliver's going to end up at second base again on a play that looked to be innocent. Just like his sacrifice bunt, he ended up at second base on an error. Now on that, he ends up at second base on an error. So he'll be a strikeout and the error. Okay, they appealed it. They threw to first. They called him out. Nope. He went back. Okay. Well, he walked over. He switched batting helmets. All right. But they had the throw come into the first baseman. He went over and tagged the bag, which isn't even the way you would go through an appeal process. So I think they did that just throw me off. So 2 times up. 2 times it looked like he was going to be out, and 2 times he ends up at second base. And of course, I'm talking about T.J. Oliver. Now Merritt up. He'll swing through that fastball from LeBaron. Yeah, Merritt had an RBI single back in the 2nd inning. Then eventually he was blocked over to second base. Boy, a nice stop again by Zakaruski. He has done a lot of that today on those short-armed curveballs. So the 2-1 count, and what should become could be potential for third out here, but because of the drop third strike and then the throwing error by the catcher, did that hit him? No, he spun away from it in time. Merritt did on a pitch that came humming on the inside. And I'll just make it a 3-1 count. LeBaron just reared back and threw the fastball. And see if he'll just respond to the same type of pitch, that juiced up fastball as LeBaron. Yeah, got it on the fist, and looks like the shortstop's got a pretty good beat on it. He will settle in, make the catch for the 2nd out. Because that's Will. That is not Will Cole. They've switched shortstops on me out there. So they had Cole listed as the shortstop, but it is not. And I'll have to trace down that number as to who 21 is. But it'll be a 2nd out of the inning. And now top of the order, Rob Dorian up. He has singled and scored, and then he flied out to the 3rd baseman. And he's got himself a base hit right there. And will it hit the gap? Nope. Pierce able to get over there and hustle into the gap and keep him to a single. Yep. And there's Oliver behind the play scoring the 4th run of the game. So Oliver, remember, he got on because of the error. You should have been the 2nd out of the inning. So Dorian with an RBI and a run scored in today's ball game. 2 for 3, and Chad Ryan up. Chad Ryan with a single his last time up. And that's going to be frustrating to LeBaron because he had the strikeout of Oliver, and they dropped strike 3, and then they threw the ball away, throwing it to first. Runner going, can catch the throw, and safe. Safe again. See if they take him a 3rd time. Nope. Now last for time. So Dorian with that tremendous speed will have the stolen base. Be his 2nd stolen base of the afternoon. So he's got a couple of hits, a run scored, an RBI, and 2 stolen bases. And we're only in the 4th. He's already done quite a day's work. So in a 4-2 game, that's going to be fouled right into the dugout over there for Bennington. Whoa. That gets you going. That wakes you up, huh? And I'm just trying to discover who number 20. I don't have a 21 on my roster, so maybe it is Cole at shortstop. Just didn't have his jersey with him. Quistapace is the on-deck batter, and Chad Ryan. Watch that one pretty carefully come all the way in, and just did miss for a 1-2 count now. Now the 2 strikes. borderline pitches. And you got to at least get a bat on the ball and be defensive, foul him off. That's going to stay fair, and he will get there and make the tag. That'll be the inning, and with the error and then the base hit, Rutland able to get a run in and makes it 4-2 Rutland with the lead going into the 5th. And Tony Sorelli came out and they had Chad Ryan stay at first base, and they're appealing the call. So that's why we're hanging around here. Is you can see the Bennington head coach over there. Coach Sorelli already came out and told his runner to stay there and stated his argument to the umpires, and we'll see what they come up with here for a call. We could have an extension of that last inning. Did he look out to me? Yes. Does it matter what I think? No. Oh, you have to look for an interference call. That's what I just heard him say. They're looking for an interference call, and I think they're going to get it. Well, I'm hearing a lot of things, and I'm 400 feet away, so I should just be quiet and let's see what the umpire says here. Oh, you know, it'd be nice if Mr. Shortle, the PA guy, would... I would say it did not go Bennington's way, since the Rutland base runner is still staying at first, and the Bennington coach, not arguing like Lou Piniella, but is arguing. I would say it did not go his way. So we shall see here. And it's turned into quite a lengthy discussion. And plus they have the other thing too, I'm thinking why Rutland won this argument, is they have the on-deck batter, Quistpace, standing at the plate, swinging the bat, ready to go. And Dorian stays at third base. Also, I forgot to mention that, but Rob's down at third base, so it could be first and third and still 2 down here, as they keep the discussion going on. You know, at this point, and I'm all for discussions, but it's been explained a couple different times now. It's time just to move on and play. Safe. There is the call. So this inning is not over. Yeah, and whatever it was, they worked it all out, and so Rutland's not. Now you got to take advantage of it, though. Now Quistpace, who was struck out in the first and struck out in the second, both times looking at strike 3 on a curveball. He has runners at the corners, and boy, I tell you what, as they get the Bennington players back out of the field in their positions defensively, I think this is a tremendous pitch right here. Go right on the steal right here from the first pitch with Dorian. Does it matter what I think? No, absolutely not. And it never has. And I've always known that. Was the most irrelevant person in local sports. That's what I was labeled. And there he goes. He's off and running, and he's going to eat the ball, and he'll be back in areas. So that takes away the force out, puts the runner in scoring position. So Quistpace now, looking to redeem himself at the plate with those 2 strikeouts. Again, he's tremendous power at the plate as far as when he gets a hold of one. And that is one of them. That is going back, back, back. It's going to go right off the base of the wall. That's going to clean the bases out, and that's going to send Quistpace to second with a mammoth double. And how big was that interference call now? Huge, because if you go back, actually, let's recap that whole last inning. Well, this inning, because it's still that inning. It's not over yet. They had Oliver struck out. They dropped strike 3. The catcher overthrew the bag at first on the throwdown. That extended the inning, because that should have been the second out. Because Merritt came up and popped out to the shortstop. So there's an out they stole. Then they should have had the inning out on the play questioned at first base was interference. There's another base hit for Rutland. They'll hold Quistpace at third, and they'll bring the ball in the cutoff, and that's going to be staying over. There's Ryan Carter with his third hit. He's having a 3-for-3 day, and runners at the corners. And again, this inning extended by an interference call, and also by an error on a drop third strike. So right now the pitcher just could be a little frustrated, more than not concentrating on the balls and strikes, but frustrated with what's transpiring around him. So in the 4th inning, Rutland gets a 6-2 lead, and it's not over yet as Jeff Bloomer coming up. And so Bloomer, the third baseman, settles in, and again first and third, and I don't think they'll send Carter here on the pitch on the steal. That's going to be a high fastball too far inside. So in a strange inning for Bennington, because they've had 4 outs and they're still out there battling away to get out the field. That's going to be down to first base, and that is officially the inning now. But Rutland, with the aid of an error and an interference call, able to get a couple runs, and 6-2 Rutland over Bennington going into the 5th inning to play officially now. Nick Bennett, Seth Foster, then top order Dan Pierce as Rutland came up with 3 runs that inning, and they're up 6-2. Going to go 9 innings, and again, I think the weather definitely is going to cooperate, and I think the game's going to stay close enough where the mercy rule won't become an integral part of the decision making here. We've already seen a lot of wild stuff happening, even just for the first home game of the year. Second game of the year for Rutland, they come in with a 1-win, no-loss record. They defeated Chester post 67 on the road. Yeah, and Aquista-Pace, like I said, for a pretty high majority of the game is pitched from ahead in the count. And Carter, nope. The reason he gave up on it, he went out of play, and if he caught it, it wouldn't have mattered anyways. They wouldn't have called him out. And he has, I think he has 3 putouts today, Carter does, in the ball game. And again, solid player wherever you put him out there on the field. He's going to be an asset and a plus for you. So an 0-2 count, and the big guy will kick and fire. And he just lobbed it in a little bit too far to the outside. He's got 5 strikeouts in the ball game. Got 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Defense been rock solid behind him. I think this team probably is going to be one of the better defensive teams, if not the best defensive team in Coach Sorelli's tenure here. That's going to be a base hit through the hole at short. So, again, it's always important to get that leadoff batter on. And in the last couple innings, if not the last 3 innings, Bennington has been able to do that. I just want to kind of backtrack and figure this out. So they did it in the 3rd. Yeah, this is their 3rd consecutive inning, 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning. They've got the leadoff batter on. I think they might have to ratchet it up a little bit on the steals or the aggressiveness or the bunt and run or swing and hit and run here, as far as when they do get that leadoff runner on, because you dictate the strategy now. It's going to be high and tight in the ball. At the plate, I should mention, is Seth Foster. He struck out in the 3rd, and that was his only plate appearance up until this moment, of course. And Ryan Carter will hold the runner on at first. He'll scoop the throw out there, and the tag was late, and the runner will just get up and dust himself off. So obviously Carter's playing first base. Merritt is playing second. Ryan's your shortstop. Bloomer is at 3rd. Blair behind the plate. Oliver, Dorian, and Miskoski the outfield. Zach Aquista-Pace is your pitcher, and you are up to date. I'll tell you what, that was a late decision to make that swing. He'll make a nice catch. Miskoski will to throw to first. He's going to be back safe. Tell you what, that was an awkward swing as he fought it off. But they get the out, and that's 1 out now, and the runner unable to advance on that hit. Now, the last time up, Dan Pierce, who's at the plate, had an RBI single. So he'll have an RBI in the ball game, and he'll see what they want to do with that base runner at first base as there's 1 down. And well, he got a solid stroke. Dorian will make a great catch. He laid out for it. Rob Dorian again just be able to track the ball, and I told you, probably I think the best center fielder in the whole state of Vermont. And he took away at least a double. If he dives and misses it, the ball gets by him in the gap. They could still be running. So a tremendous defensive play by Dorian. And again, I got it on video. That gives me goosebumps when the kid makes a great play, and I actually was able to follow it so you can see it. So what a combination right there. Dorian with the catch, Munger with the videotape. And that's going to be a wild pitch. And it's going to allow the runner to go down to second base. Yeah, and that was about all Blair could do. He got out there and blocked it, but it went off from his shin guards and goes to foul territory. So a wild pitch. First wild pitch of the ball game by Aquista-Pace. He's looking at 2 down, and John Kuzak, the DH up there. Kuzak hit into force out his last time up, and Chad Ryan says he has it, and I believe him, and he does. That's the inning. A great play by Dorian, number 10 right there, and Rutland will maintain that 6-2 lead going into the bottom of the 5th. Mitch Blair up, and he has a single, and he's also hit into a 6-4-3 double play. It's going to be Blair, Muskowski, and Oliver, the three scheduled here against LeBaron. And all of a sudden that momentum I talked about earlier in the game has switched back over to Rutland. It started Rutland. And is that going to stay fair? It is going to stay fair. Blair is going to go for 2 on that, and he's going to have a stand-up double to lead off this inning. So each team, actually, ratio-wise, are doing a nice job of getting the lead-off batters on. So Blair with 2 hits today. Now Muskowski up. He struck out, so he's 1 for 2. He's had a single scored a run and struck out. So the lefty Muskowski standing there. We'll see if LeBaron sticks with the same sequence of pitching pattern he had against the strikeout. He just stayed on that outside corner with, could have been a slider, but it was definitely a breaking ball. But he kept it away from him on the outside part of the plate. No, he came right inside and foul ball. Nope, they're going to call that fair. And I thought I hit him in foul territory, but yeah. They did, yeah, okay. They called it late, but that was a foul ball. So everybody will line it up and get him back into position. They'll send Blair back to second base and Muskowski back to the batter's box. Yeah, and they'll get all set. And that's Natasha McPhee, the bat girl out there doing all the hard work running around and getting the bat back in Muskowski's hand. So LeBaron, that was where he was the first time around against Muskowski. That exact pitch, that exact location, and he got the exact same results. Swinging strike on a pitch I think was out of the strike zone, but hey, he's doing a good job as a pitcher setting it up. Find the weakness, expose the weakness, and that's what he's doing. Tell you what, he hung that one up in there, and that's going to be a hot one to handle. He'll bobble, then take it. That will get the runner over to third base, so that was a pretty good job of getting away with a pitching mistake right there. As T.J. Oliver coming up, he should have been out twice. He's been up twice, he should have been out twice, but he's ended up at second base both times. Once on a sacrifice bunt that was misplayed by the pitcher, and then on a drop third strike that the catcher threw the ball away, thrown down to first. Oh, we got a pinch hitter, Rodolfi, coming in, so it will not be T.J. Oliver, it'll be Joe Rodolfi. Big swing and miss, foul tip, caught for a strike, and there is one out here with a 6-2 score. Rutland with a runner at third. Matt Merritt due up on deck for Rutland, the second baseman. Rodolfi making his first appearance. Now, like I said, this Rutland roster, when I go through it, just loaded. Really, it was a good harvest of players. The crop was good this year. I try not to be corny like that. That's right off the fist and back. I mean, you got, looking at the pitchers out here, I mean, Rodolfi's an outstanding left-handed pitcher to boot. Left-handed. Consolati's on there. He's a pitcher. Quistapace is a pitcher. Sorelli pitches well. Battles is a pitcher. Oliver's a pitcher. Ryan's a pitcher. Muskowski pitcher. A couple of them lefties. So, you know, really well-balanced out pitching staff. You never have enough pitching. And you never have enough left-handed pitchers. No, and then you look at position-wise, you know, everybody's solid everywhere. Schuldice is on the roster, and he's a very good catcher. Carter's a good catcher. Blair doing a good job catching. Got him. Yeah, great pitch to that left. Same thing. Looks like a slider, but in any event, it'll become the 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts now in the ball game. 2 down, runner at third, and Matt Merritt will come up. I'll tell you what. And I'll tell you what right now, and to be exact, LeBaron has really handled the left-handed batters in this order, dominated them actually. So J.C. LeBaron's pitch will be popped up, and yeah, it looks like the third out as they will settle in underneath it, and Bennett will make the catch. They'll strand the runner at third, and will stay 6-2 Rutland going into the 6th inning of play from St. Peter's Field. Well, as we enter what could be the last third portion of the ball game, we're in the 6th inning, and Corey Armstrong up for Bennington. Quistapace out. I expect a Quistapace to at least go 7, if not 8 innings. I said he has not really overworked himself. He's not thrown an abundance of pinches, and he's got a 6-2 lead. And he's looked good out there. So Armstrong, who had a double his last time up, which was the 4th inning, he had a double and scored. Will kind of just lean back in that pitch on the inside in a 2-0 count. Excuse me. Of course, the Quistapace. coming off a season of college ball. And he'll have his first 3-0 count, so quite possibly I spoke too soon thinking he'll go 7. We'll have to see what happens here. Like I said, for the most part, he started the game very strong. I'll go 3-1, taking all the way was Armstrong. He started the game very strong, retiring the first 6 Bennington players that he had faced. That's off the fist, and Carter tracking the ball. Foul. Boy, I tell you what, he's a big guy. That's a good hustle right there by Mr. Carter. So after a 3-0 start, it goes to a full count of 3 balls, 2 strikes. To the leadoff batter here in the top of the 6th for Bennington post 13. We had it at a 1-run deficit at one point at 3-2, when then Rutland able to stretch back up to 6-2 now. And Equistapace got him on the high fastball out of the strike zone for his 6th strikeout of the ball game. So I'm just listening. Yeah, 21 is Will Cole. They had him listed in the roster, my roster, as number 4, but it's number 21, Will Cole, the shortstop at the plate. He's a good-sized shortstop. Well, won't get the pitch called at the knee. Cole has struck out twice today. Struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. He's looking to avoid an 0 for 3 via the strikeout route here. And he'll kind of lean back on that one. And Equistapace down in the count 2-0. Remember, he went to 3-0 before getting that last out on the strikeout by Armstrong. Yeah, and Coach Sorelli coming out to chat to his ace out there, the big guy. And like I said, at some point in the ball game, he was going to experience a little bit of control problems as like I said, young pitchers, young players, whether it's softball or baseball, and even at the college level. And oh my gosh, how many times do you see it in pro ball? I mean, it happens. Could be just a little lack of concentration, a little fatigue. You change your motion, you know, your mechanics. But in any event, they've had their chat. He's back out there, and we're going to get set to go to Will Cole with a 2-0 count. Yeah, because you don't want to be coming back from 3-0 all the time. And that's what he's going to have to do now. So I'm thinking fastball. I know if I was a catcher, I'd be flashing that big old number 1. And it's Equistapace trying to avoid the walk here. 1 pitch at a time. That's what he did last time, and that's what he's got right there, strike. And again, you've heard me say it for many, many years through all the softball, baseball. 3-0, I give him the green light. Use your best judgment. Usually it's the best pitch in the sequence, 3-0. And he's done the same thing. He started off 3 balls, no strikes. He's come back now to make it a 3-2 full count, and he's looking for the same results he just enjoyed with Armstrong. He struck him out after 6 strikeouts in the game and a 3-2 count, with nobody on base, and Zakaruski, the on-deck hitter for Bennington. And here comes the pitch from Equistapace, and oh, he just missed. Yeah, he wanted it too. It was close, but it'll become a walk, and I'm looking. I have that as his first walk in the ball game, unofficially. So with 1 out, 1 on, we'll see what they want to do as far as running the bases. They really have not been that aggressive early in the count. So Zakaruski will be held on defensively down at first base by Ryan Carter. The breeze today is really a non-factor. It's going to be fouled out of play for a strike, and again the runner, no inclination that he's going to be taking off on the pitch for a steal. So Equistapace trying to get back into form here and get ahead in the count early to the hitters. And I'll tell you what, that Bennington dugout coming to life now, trying to rattle the Rutland pitcher. Good stop by Blair. Again, when Equistapace in the past has struggled, it has been with the off-speed stuff, and that's what he's having a problem with right now. That's why I'm a firm believer. Go back to what's worked and just stay with it. Even if it's in a strike zone and they get the bat on the ball, it's let your defense make plays behind you. Boy, I tell you, the third base coach for Bennington came about 12 feet out of the box. A very generous strike call right there, and I'm a hometown guy. So 1-2 the count. Runner at first, 1 down, pitch on the way. No, he couldn't induce him. I'll tell you what, he had him twitching like he was thinking about it, Zakaruski, but yeah. I'm not sure what the field umpire went over and was pointing and talking, but I am not sure at all what he was or discussing, because nothing has changed and he didn't really direct his warning towards any specific person. Quistapace will step off the rubber, reset himself, and look down into Blair. So the 2-2 count, getting very interesting here in the 6th inning. Rutland's had to lead the whole ball game, and he did go. He went. There's a strikeout. Through the breaking ball, or the off-speed pitch. I'm not sure if that was the changeup or not, but he's got 2 strikeouts now in the ball game. This inning, I mean, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the ball game. 2 in a second, 2 in a third, 2 in a sixth, 1 in a fourth. And Krebs up. Krebs has struck out and flied out to Dorian in center field. And I think it was Krebs that Dorian made that incredible catch on. Well, that's where you got to take one for the team. He'll duck back out of the way and be a ball. Quistapace trying to get to the end of the 6th and leave the runner stranded at first. And again, early in the count and early in the inning, they did nothing with the base runner at first base. That's going to be stop, throw, got him! What a play over there by Bloomer! Oh, Bloomer with a tremendous stab with the ball. Looked like Brooks Robinson, then had enough presence of mind to get up and flip to second. And he'll get the force out that'll end the inning. Stay 6-2 Rutland going in the bottom of the 6th. Bennington has had the leadoff batter on in several of their innings, but really have, I think when they look back on it, in their season, when they get a runner on with either no outs or 1 out, they've got to do something with that runner early in the inning and early in the counts, because half the reason Bloomer could do what he did, number 1, was a tremendous stop of the ball at the hot corner. But they hadn't started the runner with 2 down. And that's why he was able to get the force out from his knees after coming up with a diving stop. But they haven't tried to manufacture a runner, put pressure on the defense and get it shifting around or anything until either there were 2 outs and a couple strikes. But they got to look back on that and maybe tweak their philosophy with a runner on early in the inning. Dorian up at the plate, and he's been busy. And he's been productive. He's had a single and scored a run in the 1st, plus he stole the base. He's had a single, an RBI, and a stolen base in the 4th, and he's had that tremendous diving catch in center field. And I'll get to see Rob. He'll swing and miss on that pitch. In the high school all-star basketball game at CSJ, as the Vermont squad will take on Western Massachusetts, and Rob elected to that team, so he will miss the Legion game that day, but he will be out trying to get the win for the state of Vermont. And that's going to be foul. So yeah, very well chronicled, great, well-rounded athlete, Dorian. You know, a football player, basketball player, and a baseball player. And quite frankly, his dad, Mike, telling me that, you know, of all the sports, his passion is for baseball. But he's just as good at everything he does. And I remember the first time I saw Rob play was he was a 5th grader playing in a basketball tournament, and I thought, my goodness, what a special player this guy is. And now, at the end of his career as a senior, graduated senior. Good hold up right there. He's everything I thought he would be and more. Yeah, he's had a great sporting career, athletic career. Chad Ryan on deck, then Zach Quistapace, as they're at the top of the order in the bottom of the 6th with a 6-2 lead. Good eye right there again. Tell you, that Rutland defense starting right off with Matt Merritt's playing the 1st inning at second base, and then Dorian with the diving catch in center field to Bloomer at 3rd base. That defense is playing extremely well. That's what I mean. This is going to be a team I think is, I don't put pressure on them, but I think they're a team with that big P word, potential. That's going to be playable, I believe, as they'll head over. Yeah, he will make the grab. So it'll be caught over there by Bennett. That'll be the out recorded to the right fielder, Bennett, as he'll make the grab and get Dorian out. So they'll get the leadoff runner retired and Chad Ryan up. Ryan has flied out to the 1st baseman. He has singled, and he's been called safe on an interference play in the 4th. He also scored that inning. He also has a stolen base. So again, Chad Ryan, an outstanding athlete, doing a good job. And that pitch was too far outside. There'll be a ball. So LeBaron, the Bennington pitcher, That one's cranked. That is deep, that is cranked, and that is going to be out of here. Oh, did he have a sweet stroke on that? I mean, he just roped it and stroked it, and he's going to go around and touch them all, and that'll be a home run for Chad Ryan, a Mill River Union High School graduate, coming on in. And as is tradition, all the teammates out there to join him, and oh, that baby was just, it left the park so quick. Right on the St. Joseph's Avenue, right at the base of Brother Joe's little statue out there. But the first home run of the season here at St. Peter's Field, and that'll make it a 7-2 game. Yeah, Quistape's 2 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts, and then an RBI, 2 RBI double. Ryan Carter on deck. So LeBaron still out there throwing away for Bennington. Up until that pitch, I was about to say he's pitched relatively well. His team's made a couple mistakes, including himself, in the fielding department, but right there, that was all on him. That was a pitch that they could get the bat out in front of, turn on the ball, and clear the fences. In a pre-season interview, Coach Sorelli told me this isn't a team that's going to have a lot of, be able to hit the long ball a lot. They're going to do a lot of stealing, bunt and run, small ball. And I didn't argue with him. He's the coach, for God's sakes, you know. But I got looking, man. I mean, you got Quistape, who started hit a home run. Carter, who can hit him. I mean, you start going through that lineup now. You saw Chad Ryan hit him. I think he was playing, you know, like Lou Holtz, you know, being a little bit over skeptical for the opposition, or a little more humble than he should have been. I think there's some sprinkled power. I mean, Schuldeis has done it. You start going through the lineup. I mean, there's some pop in this order. Now, they're spotted throughout. I mean, it's not like they've got 7 home run hitters, but they've got some guys that can do what we just saw Mr. Ryan do. Oh, there's a good fastball. There's a strikeout. So Quistape, who was struck out twice on breaking balls, got overmatched that time on a fastball, and I believe he'll come back out and pitch the 7th. Now Carter up. Yeah, Carter has had quite the day, a double and 2 singles, and an RBI. So a 3 for 3 day for Ryan Carter. And you remember I was telling you how beautiful, and don't worry about the weather, and geez, some girls giving me all kinds of Munger forecast here. It's raining. That's how good I am. It's raining. Not heavy. Very dark. It's the thunder you don't want in the lightning. But hopefully it's just a passing shower, but it's just a light sprinkle going on right now. Of course, you can get all the weather, the real weather update, not just my BS, by going right to the Channel 15 weather bulletin board and checking the weather. I tell you, basically everything you need except for pornography is there on Channel 15. News, weather, sports, talk shows, people around the area doing stuff. People can tell you what's going on in the area. I mean, it's all right there. All you need is Channel 15, 20, and 21. And there's a strike called. So on a 3-0 count, taking all the way, we'll go to 3 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Carter. Jeff Bloomer, the on-deck batter. If Carter can get on base here, this inning's highlight so far is the home run on a very close pitch right there. It'll be ball 4. So Carter will have been on base all 4 times today. It's going to be a 9-inning game. It's in the bottom of the 6th, rolling up 7-2. And now Bloomer up. Yeah, he's flied out, or he's flied out to right, grounded out to first, and safe on a fielder's choice. But boy, he had a spectacular play at third. Yeah, and there's a strike called. Carter, I don't believe you will see him taking off for second base here on a steal. He is being held on though defensively down there at first. Bloomer wanted that outside corner, lunged at the ball and fouled it off. Now make it an 0-2 count. If Bloomer can work his way to get on base here, Mitch Blair is the on-deck hitter for post 31. And there's another guy who's had a good day at the plate, Blair. Well, that's going to be a base hit, and that's going to be trouble. That's going to be taken over, and Carter will hold it. So I thought for a second he might have a chance to stretch that out, but it'll be a single, and runners at first and second. So Bloomer doing it with the bat and doing it with the glove today for post 31. And now Mitch Blair up. He has singled in the 2nd and scored, and he has doubled in the 5th, and in between there he hit into a double play. So again, with just the, well, you know, I'm looking through the whole order. The whole order's in it from top to bottom. They've all contributed. And there's a strike called. And right now, LeBaron looking for that elusive 3rd out of the 6th inning and not allow another run to come in. The only run so far has been the home run by Ryan in this inning right here. And right off the end of the bat and foul. Yeah, the Rutland squad had a run in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, and 1 so far here in the 6th. Now again, the Ryan home run was just a great demonstration of how it's not how hard you swing the bat, but how fast you get those hands through the strike zone, the quickness, bat speed. Figured that was a fastball, had some juice behind it, and the swing had all that speed coming forward mid, and they all just met right where they had to meet to make everything happen, and an explosion over the left field wall, and that'll be high around the helmet for a ball. 2-2 the count, 2 down, 2 on. Deuce is wild here in the bottom of the 6th, and LeBaron, J.C. LeBaron, the starter for Bennington, still out there. Again, he has not pitched that bad at all. Well, he tried to. What happened there? It was a backdoor curveball. It's not where the catcher catches it. That wrapped itself around the plate and never nicked the corner, and will not be called a strike. And it'll go to a full count now at 3-2. And it's foul tip caught, strike 3. That's the inning. But Chad Ryan with a home run will make it 7-2 Rutland going into the 7th. And so Rutland's own version of the Ryan Express coming on to pitch in the 7th. Ryan Carter out there with number 24 with his back to you. He will come on and relieve Zach Aquistapace, who will leave with 7 strikeouts in the ball game. Did an excellent job. Retired the first 6 batters he faced, and really was pretty much in control of the being ahead in the count. And did issue the 1 walk and 2 runs. And he's in a position where he can only win the ball game. So Carter will be looking at Parmenter, Dylan Parmenter, to start his afternoon off. He started at first base, Carter did. Now he's moved into the pitching spot, and Aquistapace, that's going to be a strike. Aquistapace has gone from the pitching spot to play first base defensively. Rodolfi's in left field, Dorian in center, and Miskowski, sorry, I mispronounced his name. Miskowski is in right. That's going to be towards short, as we picked up by Ryan. Chad Ryan's long throw will be there and out. Now, Aquistapace is an outstanding first baseman, and he's got that huge body, so he gives you quite the... He takes 2 steps off a run by his ability to stretch out and get the ball. Yeah, Nick Bennett up. He has 1 for 2 today. He has struck out and singled. And he has been stranded at second base, so he'll be up against Carter with a 1 out, nobody on situation. 7-2 the score. Post 31 with the lead, looking to go to 2-0 on the young season. And again, every Saturday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Tommy Leopold, the Channel 15 director, starts the games of the week, so you can tune in. And if you just can't be home and whatever, and he went after pitch well at strike zone on that rising fastball, you can just go to the website at PEGTV.com and click on all the instructions for streamlined video or video on demand and watch all the programming you want right there on your computer, home on the internet. Well, that's right off the fist. And that looks to be catchable. It is. He'll be taking on the run in very short right field for 2 down. As Miskowski will make the catch. And I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. Isn't that awful? I did it. Miskowski. No, I'm saying it right. Well, what I interpret is right. I'll have to actually ask the young man personally when I see him in the dugout before the next game, which will be tomorrow. So you'll see a lot more Legion baseball action. Taped late, of course, but you'll be able to see it on Channel 15, the leader in public sport, or local sports, public access television. Seth Fostrup, he has struck out and flied out to Miskowski in right field. So Carter looking to have a 1-2-3 first inning of work himself. Well, I tell you, he's gotten a tremendous amount of help from the first 3 batters he's faced as far as hacking away at pitches over their head or pitches at their feet. But he'll take it. And it'll be strike 1. Top of the order, Dan Pierce on deck. Scheduled for 9. We're in the 7th. The rain has stopped. The clouds have passed over. It looks like the sky is going to come in clear now behind all that weather. Field was in tremendous great condition again as usual with all these volunteers down at MSJ that take tremendous pride in their work here at St. Peter's Field. Oh, he just blew it by him. Just so much talent and potential, number 24 out there. Fun to watch him play. Yeah, and he came back with the high fastball, and this time he'll lay off it and he'll go to a 1-2 count. Carter has gotten a ground out, a fly out, and he's looking for the 3rd out right now. And that's going to be out of play. That's going to be over the backstop screening and onto the River Street area. And they'll give them a new baseball. They'll track that one down, and we'll just get set again. And again, you are watching American Legion Post 31 baseball action, and I'm glad you're watching us on TV or on the computer, but please get out in person, come down to the field and watch a game live and in person and support Post 31 baseball. Miskovsky will watch it go foul. So he fought that one off. That was high and inside, man. He was doing everything he could do to turn his body and hammer it out of play, or just hammer it, and he got it out of play. Well, now that the young man's gone back, I'm going to tell you that is not Foster. That is Kyle Parmenter, number 4, who's pinch hitting. And I didn't hear that announced, and I did not see it till just now, so I apologize for that. But that's Kyle Parmenter, number 4, out there at the plate against Ryan Carter. 1-2, 2 down, 7-2 to score Rutland. 7th inning. Yeah, that one got kind of away from. That was a Bull Durham. Great baseball movie. That was a Bull Durham pitch. And if you're going to lose one, that's one to lose. It's a 2-2 count. No damage done. Except you scared the heck out of the batter. See if he comes right back with a high fastball now. He did, right on the fist and out of play. It's a good pitch, and it's a good job by the batter, Kyle Parmenter, to foul that off. Because if Parmenter gets on, Dan Pierce awaits on deck. He also represents the top of the order for Bennington. And like I said, the breeze of a non-factor day, it's just a very gentle breeze. Carter all set, and from the full windup, big number 24. That's going to be down to first baseman, Quisted Pace. On the bag, you'll have an assist and a put out, and that's going to be the inning. A 1-2-3 inning of relief for Ryan Carter. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th with Post 31 on top, 7-2. So Miskovsky up, and then Rodolfi, then Merritt. Of course, Miskovsky, a lefty, against the right-handed pitching J.C. LeBaron. And good pitch, good swing, good rip, foul ball, strike 1. Rutland with that run in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, 1 in the 6th. And like I said before, J.C. LeBaron has looked very good out there, actually. He's given up the home run to Chad Ryan. They made a few errors, including himself out there defensively, but overall, I mean, he's got him into the 7th, and I just got to check him. I have him for 6 strikeouts. But let me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 strikeouts in the ball game for him. And I don't know. It'll just be a matter of see how many, what his pitch count is, how far into the game he goes. He's in the 7th inning of work in a 9-inning ball game, and there was some action behind the Bennington dugout last inning, like their bullpen area, but I do not see anybody right now throwing in the bullpen. Of course, Rutland coached by Tony Sorelli. And like I say, he's done a very good job with this organization, making it lots of wins every year and good seedings and quality play. And I got to be, I'm a hometowner, but I see a lot of games throughout the year, and they have very good sportsmanship. I mean, I don't see or hear it if they're not being good sportsmen, but I don't, so. That's going to be down to shortstop and past Will Cole, and that'll be a base hit for Miskovsky as he goes the other way on that time. They went low and outside corner again like they had against them all afternoon, and this time he went with the pitch, and he'll end up with a base hit, so they'll have the leadoff runner on, and Joe Rodolfi up. And Rodolfi came on to relieve Oliver in left field. He's only had 1 at bat, and it was a strikeout. So back-to-back lefties here in the bottom of the order. And a very good pitch called a strike. Again, the change in speed and change in style of pitches and hitting the spots has been very impressive from J.C. LeBaron. Dan Zakarewski still the catcher, and again, not a bad afternoon at all to play ball. Pleasantly warm, not humid, not stiflingly hot. The sun right now behind the clouds, I prefer that personally, so it's not really a bad sky for the fielders to see in. Now LeBaron, after he checked the runner back, will lose the grip on that. And there goes the runner on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out. I'm not really sure what he was thinking. But Muskoski, I don't know if it was a missed sign or delayed steal or whatever, but it was awkward to say the least, and he is thrown out. So there's one out now. Now nobody on base, and Rodolfi with a 2-1 count. If he would have taken off immediately, he would have had that. But everything was done in slow motion. Oh, there's that left-handed. See how he took that front foot and ended up stepping all the way toward first base, called stepping on the bucket? That's a trait of left-handed hitters. Shortened his bat up right there, Rodolfi did. So LeBaron with the bases clear, and that pitch will be off of the fence down toward the concession stand, and a chorus of heads comes crying out so nobody will get whacked down there. All I can hear is Coach Glenn Carter's voice over there, so I know he was on top of the play. With a 2-2 count, the pitch on the way. Oh, that's that going to drop. That's a piece of hitting. That was a piece of hitting right there. And he's taking a huge turn trying to draw the throw. Rodolfi with that's a Major League Baseball piece of hitting right there. So they'll have a runner back at first base, but with the one out, and now Matt Merritt up. Merritt 1 for 3 today. He has had a single and an RBI. Prior to that, other than that, he has flied out to the shortstop and flied out to right field. And he's got a Gold Glove play out there at second base also today. Rodolfi will slide head first back safely to first base. As the 7th inning of play here from St. Peter's Field in the home opener for Post 31. American Legion baseball action is underway. And that's going to be out of play. Yeah, I'll go down the first base side and to the fence, but not over it and out of play. And of course, Merritt represents number 9 hitter, and that will put Dorian on deck. Rob Dorian will be the on-deck hitter for Rutland Post 31. The breeze is starting to kick up now, and it's very dark to the west. So a storm might be brewing. We've had a little sprinkle earlier in the contest, but we're scheduled for 9 innings today, 9 tomorrow. Rodolfi faked going. The pitch was called a strike. It's going to be 2 strikes on Merritt. Yeah, the weekday games, you get the schedule either by going to the Legion or looking for little schedule booklets they've passed out, or looking in the Rutland Herald. But the weeknight games, work night games, start at 5:30. Then on the weekends, it's noontime starts, and it's either going to be a 9-inning game or 2 7-inning games. So, you know, plenty of baseball coming for you to watch personally. That's how to play on a fall ball. Again, I want you to watch it on Channel 15. I want you to go on the internet and watch it. But I beg you to come down in person. Fill these bleachers up. I've yet to see the bleachers ever full here since, I think, 79 was the last time I ever saw the bleachers full here. And I'm not talking football ones. I'm talking about the baseball bleachers over by third base. That's going to be playable, I believe. He's fading back on the ball, and yeah, he'll make the grab and the catch, and there's an out. So 2 down, as that's a fly out to the right fielder, and that's a new number. I got to catch up to that. That's number 18, and that's Ryan McKenna. So McKenna with the catch for Bennington. Yeah, so 2 down for Dorian to come up. Last time up, he flied out to right field. And he's had a typical Rob Dorian day. He's pretty much done it all. That's going to be through the hole in the base hit. Boy, you got to go back to that stolen base on the delayed by Muskoski, because we've had Rodolfi with a hit, Dorian with a hit, but no runs scored here. So that's a 2-out single. You had just enough daylight to get through. Now Chad Ryan up. Now Chad, his last time up, took the ball out of the yard. He hit a home run over the left field wall. And he has looked pretty good in the field and pretty good at the plate. So he's had a good day, Chad Ryan has. There's a strike. Right on the money was LeBaron. Ryan also, he's flied out to third. He's singled in the second, reached on interference in the fourth, and then he had a home run in the sixth. You talk about being diversified. He's been all over. That pitch floated in high. And that'll level the count out at 1-1. Yeah, not to sound like a meteorologist, because I'm not. The temperatures dropped at least 5 to 6 degrees here in the last inning. There's another good pitch from J.C. LeBaron. As he'll take that look to the runner at second base, and he'll come to the plate now. And I'll tell you what, just below he thought he had it, but they have not given him. Maybe 2 low ball strikes all day. So again, he'll look in. That was a close play, but with a 2-2 count, 2 down, 2 on, and the pitch. That was a great defensive swing. Could have been called a strike. You don't know. It was right on the edge there. So he fouled it off. Stayed alive. Got the bat on the ball with 2 strikes. Just what you're supposed to do. Zach Aquistapase is the on-deck hitter for post 31. And LeBaron. Well, he's got to be nearing his final inning of work, as he's been extended in quite a few innings now. And he's thrown a lot of pitches deep into the count. This has been a good battle between Ryan and LeBaron right here. Good pitches, good defensive swings. Make him throw some more good pitches. Rutland looking to break open the ball game, and that's going to be another great piece of hitting. And they're going to send, no, they're going to hold him up. Yep, that is 4 base hits this inning and no runs yet. Well, that will set the table for Zach Aquistapase. He's 3 for 4. He struck out 3 times, and he had a double to center field that scored 2 runs. Well, what I'm looking at here, bases loaded. You don't want to walk them. You don't want to throw curveballs in the dirt and get past your catcher. You got to be thinking first pitch fastball, or you're going to see more fastballs this at bat. That is going to be low for a ball. Plus, if you get behind in the count like he already is, you got to be sitting on a fastball. So again, they can break the game wide open here with a crack of the bat. He's down. You know, the thing about, well, you know, if I walk him, I'm only surrendering 1 run instead of letting him drive in several. But you got Ryan Carter on deck. So it's really a tight situation here for J.C. LeBaron. At this point, you know, I don't know. It's tough. As a catcher, I'd almost have to wiggle the 1, but well, he did, and he overpowered him. He threw it right down the heart of the plate, a fastball, and won that battle. That was a tough battle to pick and win, but he did it. Now I'll bring it back to a 2-1 count now. 7-2 the score. We're in the bottom of the 7th, Rutland with the lead. They have led from the onset. They did let the score get as close as 3-2, but then they put a little more padding between them and Bennington. And boy, I tell you what, that's a long look in from LeBaron, and that will make it a 3-1 count now. Do you turn the big guy loose with a green light at the plate? I do, because if it's not in the strike zone, obviously you'd hope he wouldn't be, you know, if it's over his head. But if it's right there, let him go for it. It was right in the zone right by his hips, but he'll fall out of play. And we'll have a full count now at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So a very critical moment in the ballgame for Bennington right now, as they already trail by 5. And with the bases loaded, even with 2 down, and Aquistapase and Carter at the plate, not a lot of wiggle room. Oh, great pitch, great job of fouling it off. He had thrown a fastball on that low outside corner, and Aquistapase made sure he got that bat around and fouled it off. So anyway, we'll just get back into position to do it all again. You see LeBaron, full windup, the runners are all off. And that is going to be caught on the drive, right at the top of the knee. And that saves, runners are off, that saved at least 3 runs. And we'll stay 7-2 Rutland going into the 8th inning from St. Petersfield. So in a steady rain right now in the top of the 8th, Dan Pierce, the top of the order, will lead things off here for Bennington against Ryan Carter, who came on in relief last inning and enjoyed a 1-2-3 inning. The 3rd 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon for Rutland pitching. Well, you can see that nasty stuff right there he threw. Got him down 0-2 in the count. Yeah, so it is raining again, much harder this time than it was earlier in the contest. And Carter will step off the rubber, step off the mound, and whatever, he's all set now. There's the windup. Just missed. Oh, no, they gave it to him. Oh, man. I thought for sure went around the plate, but he'll get the call being a hometowner, and it'll be a strikeout. His first strikeout of the ball game, the 8th for Rutland pitching today. And now John Kuzak up. And Kuzak today is 0 for 3. And again, Bennington running out of outs here. They're down 7-2 in the 8th inning with only 5 outs left in the ball game. That's very impressive when you can start a game with a Quista pace and then bring in the quality pitcher like Carter behind him. That's a good-looking pitching staff. You know, like I said, you start looking at their pitchers. I mean, they've got a very strong rotation available. And I think the defense has spoken for itself on tape today with the tremendous plays, and and the routine plays too. That's going to be past Bloomer, and that's going to be a single, and he'll come out to Rodolfi, and he'll get the ball into play. So that'll be the first base runner against Ryan Carter, and he'll see him go to the stretch now to pitch. And yeah, so Corey Armstrong, who's 1 for 3 today, he's got a double and scored, and he's also struck out and flied out to first. And so Carter with the target set up on the outside corner of the plate. Beautiful pitch. The breeze not substantial, but it's harder than it was blowing earlier in the contest, and it's blowing from first base to center field. Oh man, I don't know if that was his knuckle curve that he has or what, but he had him way off stride and out of the strike zone swinging after it for an 0-2 count. Like I said, Carter with a 1-2-3 7th, a strikeout to start the 8th, and then that single by Kuzak. Yeah, so Carter looks into the dugout, and whatever he needed to see, he saw, and he'll just flick it over to first, and the runner was only off like 2 or 3 steps, and he was back well ahead of the throw. And I'm not sure what the umpire is. Oh, the umpire is telling him he's got to put the batting helmet on, I believe. Oh, you know what it is? They wanted time so they could switch. The coach had the good batting helmet, and they want to switch it around with him. That's the delay in the action right there. And so everybody happy with their headwear. That throw over to first, he'll be back safe. Carter a little preoccupied with the base runner right now. Rutland up by 5, 7-2. Oh my goodness, that's a great pitch. That was the same strikeout pitch he used on the top of the order. Pierce, he's got 2 down on strikeouts. And now Will Cole, officially 0 for 2 today. He has struck out twice and walked his last at bat. This is his first time up though today against Carter. So Ryan Carter looking to strand that runner over at first base here in the 8th. We'll start him off with a fastball just above the knee. A lot of sting on the ball, and that'll be called a strike. And so the rain is completely stopped now at St. Peter's Field. And that was what you call chin music. That was up and inside and tight, and got the attention of Will Cole. And so Carter back to the stretch. Now be skipped in the dirt. Nice stop by Mitch Blair. Mitch Blair's done a nice job behind the plate today with both Quistabase and Carter. You know, it's not always about throwing runners out at the catcher's position. I mean, he's given good targets. He's received the pitches well, so they look like strikes. He's done a nice job calling the game. Right there, it was a beautiful job of receiving that pitch, not lunging outside. It was a strike, and he made it look like a strike. So 2-2 count. Carter looking to strike out all 3 outs here this inning. He did give up the single, but right now it doesn't look like that's going to hurt him. We'll see what happens here with this pitch, and he will have 3 strikeouts that inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, throwing up 7-2. Okay, so what the discussion is right here is that during the warm-ups they saw lightning. The umpires did not see the lightning. They've had a meeting already earlier, and we're going to play through it. And it'll be discussed again, and I think at the insistence of the Rutland Post 31 squad, they're going to, well, I don't know. They want to play through, I believe the umpires do. But Rutland very adamant about not playing. I know what the rules are. I mean, I'm not giving you my opinion on it. It's just, see him shrug his shoulders right there? They didn't see it. It was brought to their attention, I believe it was Mike Dorian in the dugout that saw it, spotted it, brought it to the umpire's attention. They discussed it once already, went back to play, and now they're discussing again with the Bennington coaching staff. And I believe that's Ron Fairbanks coming out also now, the Rutland Post 31 general manager. And of course, safety always the first issue here. And I'm not sure how the rules stated. I mean, if it's brought to the umpire's attention, do they actually have to see it? I don't know. But that's what they're discussing right now, so we could have a delay. It wouldn't affect you. Might have a delay over here, but I can tell you right now, the sky over us directly right now has pretty much a lot of blue in it. There's clouds, and it's yet to be determined if they're going to play or not. So after a very lengthy discussion, I don't know if they have to know it, determine it, rule on it, or whatever, but I can hear thunder in the distance now. And I don't have my Channel 15 weather radar, so I don't know if it's coming in or just passing through. We're going to hang around for a while. And again, Ron Fairbanks talking to the Bennington coaching staff. The umpires talking to the Bennington umpires, and so they're going to leave the field. Okay, so they're leaving the field. Now, somebody I just heard him say the game is over. Now, I don't know about that. I thought it's an official game because it went 7 innings. So whether that's the official game or they're going to have to delay and wait I think it's 30 minutes you have to wait after the lightning strike. But I'll wait just a few more minutes, see if there's handshakes or if they're just going to sit and wait it out. Somebody hollered from the dugout, get the bases. Now, I don't think you would do that in a lightning delay situation. So I don't believe the game is called yet. But we'll wait and see. Okay, so we're back at St. Peter's Field, and what you missed was a 1 hour plus delay for lightning sightings. So we'll pick the game back up. We're in the bottom of the 8th, Rutland coming up to the bat. They lead 7-2. And Will Cole has gone on the pitch now for Bennington. He will replace J.C. LeBaron. Cole was the starting shortstop. And so we're going to pick it up with Ryan Carter coming up to the plate. Carter, Bloomer, and then Blair do up. Carter today with an RBI double in the first, a single in the third, single in the fourth, and a walk in the 6th. So he has been, like I said, very productive in that pitch from Will Cole, a strike. And that one's going to be stroked out towards center field and coming on and making a great catch. Showing that's the way to get the game back underway again, get the crowd who stayed for the game back into it. A great catch in center field by number 3, Dan Pierce. And like I said, with the lightning and the rain, most of the people have left the ball game. That's a treat for the people that stayed. So Mike Sorelli is the pinch hitter for Bloomer. So I'm assuming that Sorelli will go in and play the top of the 9th defensively at third base. So his first at bat against anybody today, and he'll be facing Will Cole. So Cole, with that 0-1 count, will be short there, and we'll leave it off at 1-1. Yes, it's sprinkling right now. We've had some showers on and off, and what the delay the first time was sighting of lightning, and they need to wait 30 minutes, but they had a very lengthy discussion about whether they're going to do that, who saw it, and everything, and they ended up actually taking about 45 minutes between declaring the 30-minute wait And of course, in the middle of that 30-minute wait, there was another sighting of lightning, so you start all over again with your 30 minutes. And then they gave the players about 10-15 minutes in addition to warm up. So with a 2-2 count to Mike Sorelli, and then the pitch on the way from Will Cole. Good pitch, good job with 2 strikes, being defensive by Sorelli at the plate. Mike, a recent graduate from MSJ. Besides playing third and short, he's also a pitcher on the roster. And he's battling here with a 2-2 count. And that just missed inside. It was off the plate and inside. It was a good 2-2 pitch, but now we'll run it to a full count. Rutland with that 7-2 lead. It is an official game, but they're just trying to get it all in here. Baseball season's way too short in Vermont. And plus the teams have traveled, lugged in, 7.5 innings of work here. They're trying to finish out the last inning and a half. Or not, it doesn't even have to be that, actually. Foul tip, strike caught, and it'll be the second out, and that was a good pitch. And nice job by the catcher behind the plate, making the catch of that foul tip, Zacharuski. Yeah, so Mitch Blair up now, and Blair is your catcher, of course, and he probably appreciated the break in the action. And he'll take a ball up inside. Game was started by LeBaron, J.C. LeBaron, and he went 7 innings, and then a little Cole on in relief. And well, I'll tell you what, he turned on that, and that's going to be foul as he ripped it down the third base line, foul. And he hung that one around the inside corner and didn't put a lot of snap on the ball, and Blair able to turn on it but fall for a strike. And it did hit. I thought it nicked him in the butt, and it did. So it'll be a hit batter on what was one of the slowest developing curveballs I've ever seen. And now Alex Muskoski up, or due up. We'll see who's coming up. And it is Muskoski coming up, and again, he'll have a little extra hole here to hit through the ball if he can pull the ball, because he's got the runner being held on at first base by Corey Armstrong. So Muskoski with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th, rolling up by 5, and that will be swung through for a strike, and it'll leave him at 1-1. There was 7 strikeouts in total for all the Bennington pitchers so far. 7 strikeouts and not a lot of walks. Neither side has issued a lot of walks. That was actually the first hit batter today. And that pitch called a strike. So the 1-2 count to Muskoski. And from the stretch, Will Cole will miss low. Caught the plate, but low, well below the knee. And he'll run it now to a 2-2 count. Again, you're watching American Legion baseball action on PEGTV, Channel 15, Public Access Sports. Oh, he got the benefit of the call. We'll come up to the top of the 9th. Bennington needing 5 to tie it here at St. Peter's Field. So Mike McMahon becomes the 3rd Rutland Post 31 pitcher today. He's trying to close this thing out here in the 9th. And he's looking at the catcher, Dan Zacharuski, for Bennington. The game was started by Zach Aquistapes, pitched a very strong 6 innings. Gave up 2 runs, and that's foul ball, and it looks to be catchable. And Muskoski says he's got it, and I believe him, he does. There's 1 out here in the 9th. Rutland just 2 outs away from getting the win and going to 2-0 in league play. Like I started to say, now McKenna coming in the ball game. He'll be batting next, and he came in a few innings ago. But like I said, Quistapes pitched the first 6 innings, and Ryan Carter pitched the 7th and 8th. He faced, oops, you know what I did? I had it on the wrong person. I apologize for that. Chad Ryan made the catch. 2 down, yep. That was a boneheaded move on my part. I had the wrong fielder. So with 2 down, Bennington down to the last outs. Dylan Parmenter up. So what I'm trying to say is Carter faced 6 batters, in the 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and he struck out 3 of the 6. Had a very strong performance. There's a strike from McMahon. So again, Rutland led all the way, and they're looking to go and get the win here for Zach Aquistapes. There's no save situation for either reliever. And get a leg up on Bennington. They'll have Bennington twice in the first 10 days of the season. That's very unusual, and then they'll be done with Bennington until maybe, possibly the playoffs. So McMahon with a 1-1 count and 2 outs on 2 fly balls. One you saw because I found it and taped it, and the other one because I missed the play. You did not see it, so. That'll sail outside too far. Will not get the call, and it'll go to 2 balls and 1 strike. Now McMahon, I believe I saw either in Junior Babe Ruth or Red Thunder baseball, but here he is, Legion ball, getting all grown up, and that could be the ball game. It's to Chad Ryan. He'll play a tough hop, stay back on the ball, and get the out. Nice job by Quistapace. Like I said, he's like a shot back, a Hoover over there. Every ball hit near him, he'll suck it up. That'll be the ball game. Quistapace, ironically, or I don't know if that's really the word I want, but he started the game at the pitching position. He'll get the win, and he recorded the last out on the assist there on that 6-3 ground out. So congratulations to Rutland Post 31 getting their first home win of the season, and a good effort by Bennington. And always get out there, support American Legion baseball action, and always turn on Munger Vision. Thanks a lot.